Learning how to correctly hip hinge, patterning it, and mastering it is one of the most important things we need to do to improve the stability and strength of our hips. We're going to start our learning journey in a standing position. This is one of the simplest ways to go about learning and mastering this pattern at a basic level. We're going to move incrementally as we go, and the key is going to be finding this crease right here. What we're going to do is be leaning forward, hinging right on our hip joints as though these joints are skewered. Recall, restore the foundation. Remember, we've got to create a nice stiff trunk and core. That's our foundation that allows our hips to do what it needs to do. So we're going to be moving forward incrementally, keeping our legs nice and straight, the core nice and stiff, and then progress to see how far we can go. We're going to begin to learn how to hip hinge from a standing position. Recall how to set up a neutral pelvic position and come into a nice, perfectly stacked muscular skeletal alignment with a neutral low back, shoulders back and down, your head directly over your spine, and your feet about hip width apart. Make sure to keep your legs nice and straight and get a good static stomp, screwing your feet right into the ground. Grip your butt. You really want to create some good stiffness prior to getting into that first crease at your hips. You're going to need a good solid brace of your low ab to make sure that you can keep your back nice and neutral. Now that we've set up a good starting position, let's move into the next position by hinging right at the hips. Think of that crease. We'll fold right at the crease and move to about 35 to 45 degrees. There'll be a tendency for your butt to slide back. Don't allow that to happen. Keep your body nice and straight, your legs straight, and most of your weight over the front part of your feet. Notice the image I've brought in on the left, which is showing us the biggest thing we want to avoid as we begin to hinge. This isn't moving through the hips, this is moving through the back. We've allowed the low back to flatten, we've disengaged the shoulders. We're now moving through the spine and not our hips. Focus again on the image on the right. Notice the slight curve of the low back and the maintenance of complete stiffness and alignment right from the hip through the shoulders and the head. This is what we're looking for through every step and phase of this exercise. Okay, now that we've reached this point, we're ready to move into our next position. We want to keep all of the same skills that we've worked on to this point in time. Good ab brace, good static stomp into the floor, making sure to keep our neutral back. You'll notice your weight coming a little bit forward on your feet. That's okay. Make sure to keep a nice long spine. If you're tight through your posterior chain, you're going to feel that. So if need be, make sure to address that in your training. As with the first position, we've got to be sure not to lose our neutral back. Again, look at the image on the left. This isn't what we're looking for. This is just flexing through the spine, not moving through the hips. We want to make sure to pivot on our hip joints and literally hinge forward. Okay, if we've reached this point and we're progressing okay, we're ready to go to our next and final position in our standing hip hinge. This is far and away the most challenging to both maintain a nice straight body line and also our neutral low back. If you're feeling some restriction along the back side of your body that's preventing you from getting to 90 degrees, make sure to address that in your training. Don't lose your core control. Keep that lower ab brace. Be sure to look in a mirror, videotape yourself. Make sure you're maintaining the position you need to. All right, your training goal now is simple. Practice these 3 progressive positions, pattern them well, get very comfortable moving through this progression, make it almost unconscious. Take the time to groove the groove now so that you'll be ready to move on to step 2, where we'll take our hip hinge to another level and also introduce a basic deadlift. We'll see you in the next video.